get drunk, it's gonna bring us closer. Don't I look like a Halle Berry poster? See ya, Beverly, playing tricks on ya. Okay, what is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I am your hostess on the mostest, Kivanchi. And yeah, we're gonna have a time tonight. Why are we gonna have a time? Because I'm sleepy. The delusion that comes with that is actually like a really fun pocket to sit in. And I find that some of the podcasts that I personally enjoy the most are the ones where I'm literally half out of my mind. So hello, welcome back to another episode. Today, okay, we are on episode 5 of Reasonable Doubt. All right, now it's getting crazy. Okay, it's getting crazy. Now let me go into my notes. Why in my notes did I not put the name of the episode? I don't know. Probably because I was fighting a nap earlier. But it's cool. It's all good. Let me go into IMDb. Let's see what we working with. Let me see what you're working with. Ow. So the name of this episode is titled Guilty Until Proven Innocent. And so the title literally tells you like we're moving closer into this trial. So it's 5 episodes. I want to say season 1 had 10 episodes. I cannot remember, but honestly we're at the halfway point. We really need to move this trial along, because is Shanelle guilty or is she not? We don't know, but we know how the public opinion is, especially when it comes to high profile cases. And in this case, JT is this athlete that everybody thinks that they know, and Shanelle is basically presumed guilty by the court of public opinion because she's being portrayed as some groupie or some type of like gold digging wife, this, that, and the third, when if they just did a little bit of Googles and a little bit of fact checking, they would know that she was somebody who had a life of her own before him. And one of the things that I really love that they're exploring is how the public views women as it pertains to men in power. The woman could literally be powerful or even more powerful in her own right, but once she gets with that man, for some reason all of her self-worth is tied to his title, and nobody, to include other women, is willing to just dig further and be like, oh no, like she's accomplished. Sure, she may have quit that job, but what does that have to do with her intellect? What does it have to do with the hard work that she did to get there and to make a name for herself? So I'm just loving that Reasonable Doubt is really just cracking the egg open on everybody and just calling a spade a spade. And I'm pretty sure they're making a lot of people who are watching very uncomfortable, especially women, because it bothers me when women continue to perpetuate this type of narrative, as if, like Shanelle said in the last episode, you also can't find you don't know if you'll ever find yourself in a situation that has been warped and manipulated so much that you find yourself too trapped with somebody that you should not be with. So I am just in the throes of increasing wonder. If you know what that title is from, leave it in the comments. Only the nerds and only the people who've been watching know what that is. But enough rambling. I'm gonna just go ahead and do this at the front end because I don't know if I'll remember to do it at the back end. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment in the comments below. If you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and follow my page. And if you're listening on Apple, you can follow. You can also leave 1 to 5 star reviews, and you can leave some few sentences for your girl. On Spotify, you can also participate in the polls. I tried to remember to put some poll questions on there just to get interactive, but you can get real active on Instagram at So There's That Podcast. And if you want to get real feisty, you know what I'm saying, if you want to level with your girl, you can also follow me on Twitter at Kivanchi. So now that all of that is out of the way, let's get into it. As always, the genre is drama, and the creator is Ramla Muhammad. The director for this episode is Marable, and this episode was also written by Loy a Webb. So let me go into their IMDb's. Another thing that I forgot to do, I swear, like, my brain be doing the most. I'm not really seeing anything on them, so I'll just put any other things that they've worked on outside of Reasonable Doubt in the show notes as well as the description box on YouTube. If you don't see that updated, it's because I didn't find anything outside of Reasonable Doubt. One thing that I saw, that a lot of directors and a lot of writers on here, this is like their first gig, so if they don't have any other credits, that's the reason why it's not there. Not because I don't want to give them credit for any other work that they did, or that I don't want you to go watch any of their other works. I absolutely mention these things just so that you can like look them up, research them, and maybe they work on something that you watched in the past, or maybe they worked on something that you've never seen but now you're interested in. The cast, we have a lot of players in today's episode. Obviously, Emayatzi, Corinealdi, who plays Jax, McKinley Freeman, who plays Lewis, Tim Joe as Daniel, Shannon Kane as Shanelle, Maurice Chestnut as Corey, Angela Grovey as Krystal, Melissa Ponzio as Lucy, and she is the prosecuting lawyer. Thaddeus J. Mixson, who is Spenser, who is Jax's and Lewis's son, and Aderinsola Olabode, who plays Naima, which is their daughter. All right, so where do we leave off? So back at the end of season 1, Lewis was so mad at Jax that he decided to sleep with one of the moms at the school that his kids go to, and her name is Tony. And towards the end of the season, we find out that Tony is pregnant. Now, Tony had been sleeping with JT, and then she also hooked up with Lewis. Now, it seems as though she hooks up with people that she knows is unavailable, and I'm not judging her, but it just appears that that's her thing. Anyway, she finds out that she's pregnant. It could be JT's, it could be Lewis's, and I want to say, I think I mentioned his real name instead of his character name. I'm sorry, McKinley, if I did that. I cannot remember. I'm tired. So Lewis gives JT money to give to Tony to get an abortion, and we find out in the last episode, and somebody was in my comments was like, no, you didn't skip over Tony being pregnant, da 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 da. And I'm just like, hey, I gotta leave something for y'all to go watch, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell you everything, not for this show. I can't do it. I need to keep you guessing. Anyways, so Tanya ended up bringing it up in the primetime interview with Shanelle, and Shanelle was like, I don't even know what this is. Like, what are you even talking about? And she was genuinely confused because Tanya brought it up as in like, oh, well, this is a motive enough for you to want to kill him because you found out that he is having a baby with his mistress. And she like, what? And so Jax goes home and she tells Lewis like, child, you won't even believe this. Tony, so-and-so's mom, why did JT knock her up? Blah, blah, blah. And Lewis is like, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, who could be so stupid? Oh my god, like the town whore. Like, that was literally the energy and stuff that they were giving. Meanwhile, he's holding on to the secret that he too had partaken in some Nani San's protection. So we got this big secret that he's holding on to, and we're rolling into season 2, episode 5 with all of that in the background. So we open up to something that is like spiritually like moving to me. Jax tells Shanelle outright, girl, I don't think you did it, and you lying for somebody, and I can't believe you about to sit up here and try to go to jail for somebody. And Shanelle, in true deflection capacity, but like deep in her, you know, I've been in prison, boo. Like, you not gonna come for me. This scene in the energy between Jax and Shanelle, I'm talking going blow for blow, wit for wit, bitch for bitch. The way that the camera was on them, at first I thought Jax was having a dream, because the way that the camera was like close up on Jax as she's listening to Shanelle basically like dig in on all the ways in which Jax never showed up for her in her friendship before. Why should she trust her? Like, you don't even show up for women at all. Like, I should have known that you only be out here for men because you only out here caping for dick. Like, I mean, hitting in only the way that a bestie could. But Jax, she been taking her meds and she ain't no punk. Okay, she pushing right back. And it kind of like marries the dynamic that I saw in season 1, where I was like, what is their relationship? To you finding out in episodes 1 through 4 that they're actually really close. But sometimes when you're really close, especially like sisters, I have 2 sisters, woo, you can push those buttons. Okay, you can ring my bell, and they was up in there back and forth to each other. It literally was like a UFC match in there. And honestly, it was a draw. Like, it was a draw. It was crazy. And Jax was just like, look, deflection, boo-boo, that's not cute on you. I have a job to do. I know you lying to me, but it's all good. I'm gonna figure it out, even if you're not gonna be cooperative. So just the opening scene, their dynamic, their everything was just chef's kiss. We're at the trial, guys, and I'm gonna be real, like, Corey sounds convincing and so does Lucy, but we're still dealing with this weird like tug of war between Corey and Jax. And Jax told him, like, look, you got first chair, like, I'm gonna let you lead. But I feel like there's a little bit of insecurity and a little bit of intimidation on his side, because he seems very defensive. And you're playing and you're in her courthouse and you're in her firm as a guest, and you know the reputation that she has. Yes, she asked you to come along, and y'all already had this conversation about who's leading and who's doing what. But he has this thing in front of him that continues to get in the way. And so it's really distracting in what they need to do for Shanelle. And at the end of the day, baby, if I'm on trial for first-degree murder and potentially facing life in prison without the possibility of parole, I'm gonna need my lawyers to get their shit together. Get it together. But also something that I think I picked up on before, I'm not sure, in I think episode 1 or 2, when she hugged and she was just thanking him and she was just really going through it and really in the throes of coming back to work and being overwhelmed with like anxiety, she hugs him and she tells him that she needed that. And they share like this look. I don't know if it's sexual tension or what if, or a one-up, but it's really very palpable in how they're leading or co-leading in this case. Because of this being in the way, Corey does something that, you know, when he did it, I thought back to his character in The Best Man when he was getting married and all he could think about was his wife getting screwed by his best man. He was standing up there crying and reciting his vows. Like, you deserve it. So he goes behind Jax's back and meets with the firm's partners and chopping it up in like the good old boys club situation, whatever. And then they're like, oh, we can sense that maybe she's not like letting you have all the power. And he's like, well, I didn't say it. Them was your words. One more, fellas. And positioning himself to have them perceive their highest, most successful lawyer in a different light. And honestly, the only reason they probably didn't do that before is because out of all the men and like the one other woman that work in that firm, she's great at her job. But now she brought in somebody to help her with the case, and they're like, oh, we can lean on another man, because at the end of the day, dicks win. Dicks are swinging, and anytime that they can put a man over a woman, they're going to try. So you kind of see like all the praise that they were giving her, like, ooh, Jax, I'm so glad you're back. We're finally going to be winning cases. We're bringing in big money. It seems as though the firm themselves have just been waiting on an opportunity to knock her down a peg, because they themselves are also intimidated and threatened by her intelligence, her power, and literally just her overall essence in the first place. I thought that was very snaky of Corey, and honestly, hindsight, you know, Tanya should have slapped the shit out of him in last episode, because it would have been like in a foresight and a foreshadowing in honor of Jax. Because come on, dude, this is super grimy, bro. Super grimy, and you should be better than that. You already know what she's dealing with, and you know the microaggressions and stuff that she faces in her firm. But you know, sometimes black men in positions of power like to put themselves in proximity to white privilege, because the closer they are to white male privilege, the more they feel that they have a hierarchy in the world, especially in the United States, with the history of the United States in the first place. Again, tangent, another time, another place. So because of this meeting, Jax comes to work and her partner's like, hey, Jacqueline, let's rap. So, we think that you're being a little difficult and you're being a little mean to Corey. And don't you think that you can go into a woman's place and, you know, take your rightful place, you know, just, you know, sucking his cock and just letting him lead? Like, you can do so much better. I think that you can put forth so much effort to just, you know, fade into the background. And Jax, as always, delivers one of my favorite lines. She was like, oh, so should I get knee pads while I'm doing this? And they're like, oh, well, we're not saying that. We're just saying that, like, you could just play nice. And she's like, okay, noted, understood, bye, nigga. She didn't call him the N-word, but basically that was the energy. And I've been trying to keep the N-word off of this platform, but that was the energy. I apologize for any offense. So she leaves and she goes to therapy with her man, and therapy is going very well. In fact, Jax is actually able to express something that she didn't like that Lewis did, that made it seem like he undermined her and made it seem like, and made it position her to be like the villain of the parents, when she sometimes wants to be looked at as the hero by her own children. And he falls kind of temporarily into like, oh, she's fighting me. And she's like, babe, I'm not angry. I'm not fighting. And she's holding him and rubbing his arm and everything. Like, she is getting closer to him. And I love that they position this and show her own growth in being able to be open and honest with him without fear of repercussion. Even when he had a defensive response based on their own personal history, she remained open. And she still created this area of safety for him to be like, hey, it's okay. I'm not fighting you, babe. I just want you to consult me on some things, so that when you're doing something for the kids and it turns into like a praise or anything like that, then we both reap the benefits of their praises. Because what if I say no and you already went to our children and said yes? Now I'm the bad guy, and I don't want to do that anymore, and I don't want to undermine the work that I did with the children and connecting with them while I was on administrative leave. Like, I want to continue to be on the same page. And he was like, you know what, that's on me, babe. I hear you, and you are right. I was wrong for doing that, and I am so sorry. And I'm just like, Hercules, because I'm so happy. I'm so happy. But what we see with Lewis, okay, he is sick. He wants to vomit, because you might have a baby mama. Like, you might have a baby mama. And right on time, the therapist is like, how is trust going in the relationship? And of course, Jax is like, my man is amazing. I've never had any reason to not trust him. He tells me everything. Like, I trust him with my soul. I trust him with my life. Like, this is my boo. This is my babe, my man, my man, my man. And Lewis is like, if he could die right there, he would. Like, oh my God. This whole episode, even though Lewis is like a background, and like this whole thing is like a background, it's like their relationship is going so well, and then like certain conversation will turn on the head where she could be talking about somebody else, or they could be talking about some other thing, and it's literally just driving a stake in his chest, because now that they're finally on the same page, there's a huge wrench in his operations, which could absolutely destroy his relationship. Why will it destroy his relationship, Kivon-Chi? If you remember in season 1, she was screwing other people too. Jax has never lied about who she was involved with. He had cameras in the house because he also liked to watch her have sex with other men. She was always open about who she brought into the bedroom, who she brought into the home, and who she brought into her. But when he confessed that he had an affair outside of the relationship, she asked him point blank to his face, is it anybody that I know? And he looked her dead in her face and said, no. So the problem is not that he had sex with anybody else. The problem is that he, for the first time, lied to her. And it's somebody who she knows, and it's wrapped in this lie where he has never done that before, and it can actually destroy their relationship. So this is why Lewis wants to, I don't know, shrink into himself. Maybe Thanos snap his fingers and disappear, because you're actually in the wrong. Based on the parameters of your relationship and the rules of your relationship, you're wrong. And all season 1, he kept trying to be like, Jax is wrong, and you didn't do this, and you didn't fight for us, and you didn't do this, and this, and the third, just for him to be in the situation that he accused her of back in season 1. Y'all following me? Okay, let's continue. There's this gnat that keeps flying in front of me because I have all these plants, and I need to replace the little sticky thing. So if you see me swatting, I promise you, I'm not tweaking. It keeps flying in front of the lens. Okay. I don't know why I'm yelling. So we're at girls' night out, and we're with Jack, Sally, and the other friend. Why I don't ever get that friend name? It's I'm terrible. I'm terrible, but it's okay. I'm gonna give myself grace. Why? Because I feel like I'm good at what I do. Baby. Anyways, I need to take a nap. I mean, I need to go to bed. It's like 10 o'clock, almost 10. Anyway, they're at girls' night out, and they're talking, and they chopping it up, and Sally's like, how is she, how is Shanelle doing anyway? And Jax was like, girl, I don't even think she killed JT, and she covering for somebody. And the other friend was like, yeah, because none of this makes any sense, and she's acting all weird. Instantly, Sally's whole mood changed, and she just goes off of them like unprompted. Now, pause here. This is not a spoiler. I don't know this to be true, but I have been watching and studying television since I was 6 years old. This reaction is abnormal, which leads me to believe Sally is the one who walked into the house when JT was choking Shanelle and she was getting ready to pass out, and Sally is the one who knocked him over the head and killed him. I also believe that it's Sally because Sally is the one who was taking her pictures before and helped her hide like all the evidence of JT's abuse in a safety deposit box. Sally also put her house up as collateral for Shanelle's bill. They are first cousins, and first cousins are besties. I am besties with my first cousins. Like, it's up. So her reaction is irrational, and she has a guilty response. So right now, for me, Sally did it. It is what it is. And it makes sense that Shanelle would want to protect Sally for all that she's done over the years, even keeping the secret of JT's abuse, helping her like get evidence against him and everything like that. But also like keeping it a secret from Jax while trusting Jax to also be the one to get her out. So it seems like Shanelle is trying to have her cake and eat it too. She wants to keep this secret and be grateful to her cousin for being the one to actually kill JT, but also keep that so they don't mess up the friend dynamic and allow Jax to be the best lawyer that she trusts her to be and to get her off. I don't know this to be true, but this is where I am. So Onyx, Reasonable Doubt, Emayatzi, McKinley, Kerry Washington. What's up? Am I on track? Did I guess it? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. We be talking too on Instagram and everything like that. So I'm gonna find out. I'm not gonna tell nobody, but I'm gonna find out. So we're back at the trial and JT mama is on the stand. You could just imagine abusive husband, enabling mother, and she's playing the enabling mother card, and oh, and she killed my son. He was just nothing but the best for her, and he paid for everything, and how dare her. She's just an ungrateful skank, and I knew he should have never married her in the first place, blah blah blah. And there was like a situation in the court, so they had to take a quick recess, and Shanelle was like, she the one who was providing me all of the luxury sunglasses to hide my bruises, because she used to beat her own son. So Corey was like, wait, ¿qué? Quoi? ¿Cómo? Interesting. And so he made a bold move, even though he knew that it would be sustained. He brought it up to basically shake up JT's mom on the stand, and she basically admitted to some form of abuse to him. And while some abusers have mothers who were abused and they end up taking up the abuse of their father, there are also abusers whose moms are the source of the abuse. And to find out that she was covering for her son in the first place, honestly, I would say that I'm heartbroken, but I am a woman, and so I know the extent in which women can be evil. I don't have a penis. I don't walk around and be like, well, she's a girl, there's no way that she can blah blah blah. No, we can be very diabolical, we can be very mean, and we can be very evil, and sometimes it's the mothers who raise these men to be this way. And unfortunately for Shanelle, she was in hell. Your husband and his mama, where do you have to turn? And that's the unfortunate truth for so many people out here going through this and dealing with this. I mean, we've grown up seeing the Maury, that ain't my son, whenever, blah blah blah, and then it's you are the father, and now all y'all, you and the son over here running laps, crying and carrying on, when it's like, you know the man that you raised, you continue to enable him, so what the fuck are we talking about? Like, I'm confused. Insert the man that Adrian stole money from Shanelle for. He decides to make a bold move to get his money. So far, Adrian only gave him 10 million, but you know what? He said, bitch, better have my money. And so he goes and visits Shanelle and informs Shanelle of everything that's going on. So Adrian obviously confronts him, and he gets upset, and he's like, listen, I don't have time to waste. So you're gonna deal with Jax, and then we're gonna finish up our business, and that's gonna be it. I don't have time for you, boy. And in their dynamic, I'm not Not a fan. Not a fan. Boy, slave talk. Absolutely not. Honestly, in the entire episode, I really could have did without this dynamic. If I had to pick one thing that I did not like in this episode, it's this. I don't like it. I'm personally over slavery. I'm over slave tropes. I would rather have undertones and microaggressions than to be like boy and I don't know. I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight. I don't like that. I'm sorry to the writer. So anyways, he was like, you need to get rid of Jax. I don't give a damn what you do, but you need to figure it out. And we're at the point where Adrian is basically stuck between a rock and a hard place. So Jax gets a phone call, and it's Adrian. She be trying to reach him anyway. And Daniel's like, do you want me to come? And at first she was like, no, like I've been knowing him for forever, like this and the third. He not a killer, he just a man of love. And she stops. And you can see her heart stop. And she's remembering. The last time just a man in love contacted you and said, meet me by yourself, he almost killed you. And so thank God Jax says, you know what? Come with me. Wait outside. I'm going to be in contact with you every so often. If you do not hear from me, something is absolutely wrong. So she goes and she meets Adrian, and he's sitting in Shanelle's house in the dark, staring at a picture of Shanelle and JT. And he stands up and very ominously he says, we need to talk. So there's that on Reasonable Doubt season 2 episode 5, Guilty Until Proven Innocent. This is the first time I really gave y'all like a recap and a little bit of a review without giving away like big plot holes. My ultimate review, I'm loving the pace of the season. And I'm loving that we're not really making stupid decisions. It really would have been really dumb if Jax walked off without Daniel into another situation that's unknown, especially with everything she's dealing with. So I just love that we have a lot of, with Jax at least, learning from her mistakes. I also love that she's deciding to include people in the things that she feels. She's including people in her thoughts. She's including them into her emotions and everything like that. So whereas before there was isolation in this season, even with Corey ass, everybody knows how she feels. She's learning to give herself more grace and to allow herself to put her feelings in the forefront and merge with her professional self instead of trying to compartmentalize and separate them because she's trying to put on a front. And so I love that she's allowing herself that energy. What do I think is going to happen in the next episodes? I don't know if this baby is Lewis's. I don't know. But I do believe that Jax is going to find out that he lied. And I think that it's going to set them back. Oh my God, how did I not say this? I've been asking about this for 3 episodes. Oh my God, guys. No. Okay, I won't tell you. Y'all are just going to see it. Hey, that one person who be commenting, who was at my neck last week, just put it in the comments, boo. Just put it in the comments. I want to say it so bad. I am fighting myself. Something happened in this episode, and and I also think that it's going to come to light in the, if not the next episode, oh my God, maybe it's gonna be the season 2 cliffhanger, who actually killed JT. But we're getting close. I think it's Sally. Y'all tell me what you think. I think it's Sally. I don't know. And I also think that the guy who's like the business partner of JT, who's hoarding this 30 million over Adrian, I don't think that he's going to live past the next 2 episodes. Adrian is getting desperate and he can't play both sides of the fence for long, and it seems like he really loves Shanelle regardless of whatever he's caught up in. So I surmise that Jax, who's really good at talking her way out of things, is going to assist him in basically being like a double agent, and I see this guy not lasting until the end of season 2. But who am I but a cinephile, but somebody who likes to look at nuggets and see if I can piece things together. And when I'm wrong, I love being wrong because I love being flabbergasted. But when I'm right, I am a sore winner. So we'll see. And with that, that's gonna wrap up today's episode. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Whoo, what a ride. But I'm so glad that this episode visually and emotionally was much lighter, because baby, y'all had me down in the pits. I mean, I think I was crying every episode. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was hurt and heartbroken, and my own trauma was being brought to like the forefront. So I appreciate the breath and the energy, like the fighting energy that was brought into this episode, and I look forward to the rest. So good night, guys. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one because I am well overdue for sleep. The Celsius has worn off and I am like a child who has missed a nap.